How does one face certain death? One man survived a horrific car crash that cost him half his skull, but not his life. Join us here each week for amazing survival tales of superhuman strength. Find out why these people refuse to succumb, but instead show us how they survive. This is Harrison O'Keefe. Harrison was a ship's cook from Nigeria who survived 3 days at the bottom of the sea in a submerged tugboat wreck. The 29-year-old had been trapped in a freezing cold and pitch-black darkness 100 feet beneath the ocean surface without food or water. Mr. O'Keefe nor his crew of 11 knew that their lives would be in danger on this one particular night. The crew of the Jascon 4 tugboat was tasked with moving a Chevron oil tanker in the Gulf of Guinea at normal conditions. But as this day progressed to night, anything but normal was on the menu for this gallant crew. A few hours into darkness, and the ship began to encounter heavy seas. At one point in the voyage, heavy waves caused the ship to lurch and keel over, which capsized and sank the vessel to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Although the tanker remained on the surface, the ship plummeted to the bottom, taking its crew with her. Harrison O'Keefe was the luckiest one, for he was in the lower bathroom at the time of the sinking. This trapped him in an air pocket alive, but in total darkness for almost 3 days straight. Up until his rescue, O'Keefe believed his colleagues must have escaped. He says, "I heard people shouting. I felt the vessel going down, going down. I heard a voice saying, 'Is this vessel sinking or what?' From the outside, the cook could hear his colleagues' desperate cries for help. He said, 'My colleagues were shouting, God help me, God help me, God help me.' Then after a while, I never heard from them again," he recalled. The 29-year-old man said that he had spent the first 2 days of his ordeal incessantly praying to God. But on the third day, he stopped. He decided to accept death as inevitable. The morning of the third day would be when a contracted team of divers would be assigned to recover the 12 bodies that lay beneath the waves. Harrison knew nothing about this, nor did he have any concept of how much time went by. What he did know was that some of the mates were dead. See, he saw them floating on the water, and he said he could hear the fish eating his dead colleagues in the sunken portions of the ship. As the first divers made their way from a diving bell to the sunken ship, they began to recover the bodies. In fact, they had recovered 4 bodies, when all of a sudden, they were surprised to see what one shipmate was still alive. Here is that incredible footage of Mr. O'Keefe's rescue. Here we see Harrison put his hand out to the diver, and the diver responds. The diver pushes Harrison back up to an air pocket. For the first time, Harrison sees light. Remember, he had been in darkness for 3 days. At this point, the diver will provide him with water and put a harness on him so they could take him to the diving bell, which is just outside of the ship. O'Keefe will have to stay in the diving bell with the divers for 62 hours additionally before returning to the surface. O'Keefe is out of breath, hungry, thirsty, and desperate. The diver encourages him to take some more water before they transport him to the diving bell. When he thinks Mr. Harrison is ready, he prepares him to put a diving harness cover on his head. Now this will provide him with oxygen in order that he can take him to the diving bell intact and without harm. After Mr. Harrison is strapped in, the diver finally takes him to the diving bell. Here's a picture of Harrison in the diving bell, and this is a group of divers that saved his life. He was so inspired after the rescue, not only did he return home to his wife, but he decided to take the same training as the divers to join their team to save others in the same type rescue. Although he promised God that if he ever got out of the ship, he would never return to sea.